According to Reality Steve, The Bachelorette is recasting its next lead in light of the recent controversy. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have an interesting Bachelorette update for you all, but before we get started, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and today I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, there is a lot to unpack here, so let's just dive right in. If you're watching this and you're a Bachelor fan, you are probably familiar with the fact that things are a bit of a hot mess right now in the franchise. We are, of course, still dealing with the Chris Harrison, Rachel Kirkonell fallout, and we're waiting to hear the fate of After the Final Rose. But separate from all of that, Reality Steve just tweeted out a pretty surprising update. He tweeted, Katie was originally going to be the Bachelorette, and once the shit hit the fan with the franchise the last couple of weeks, the course of action changed, and they are now in discussions on who to go with. All I've heard is it won't be Katie now. So, Mariah, this is an interesting update because the Katie for Bachelorette rumors have been going on for a little while now. We had Steve initially tweeting that she was announced at After the Final Rose, which he then walked back and said no official announcement has been made, but it's going to be Katie. Meanwhile, of course, Chris Harrison was out there denying the whole thing, saying no one has been chosen. So I'm just trying to process it all and catch up. Assuming all of this is true and it is not going to be her now, do you think she would have made a good Bachelorette had she been handed the role?
I have been a Katie fan since day one. I think that she has stayed true to herself, and she's been that girl that we always want to see in a season, just someone to just stand up for the little guy or just to call it how it is, because we don't see that often. So yes, I think she would have made a great Bachelorette because she would have a zero BS policy. Plus, she has an incredible sense of humor. So she would have kept things interesting, very fun and lighthearted. But I'm not upset that she's not going to be the Bachelorette. I think regardless, we can trust that they're going to come through and pick someone amazing.
Yeah, so in light of all of this controversy, that's what Reality Steve is saying made them reevaluate if she's the right woman, for this moment. Obviously, just because she doesn't get picked this season doesn't mean she can't pop up again later or we couldn't see her in Paradise. It's not like they're kicking Katie out of everything. It's just right now they think, perhaps maybe she's not the move for the moment. Do you kind of see their thought process here? Do you think it's a good idea? How are you feeling about that?
They've come under fire so much recently. They do need to change a lot of things. In the words of Matt James, they need an institutional change. I think they really need to work within. And I think maybe being strategic about who they cast as the next Bachelorette could reflect that. People want to see that change, and maybe just changing things internally, we're not all going to be aware of it. But again, regardless of who they do bring in as the next Bachelorette, I think we're going to be happy. I understand they have to do what's best for them in the franchise right now. They have a lot of people to please, and that is one of the hardest jobs that anybody can do.
Yeah, they definitely have sort of dug themselves into a hole, and every move they make moving forward is going to be evaluated. Was this the right choice? Could they have done better? Are they, representing change with this choice? And, just aside from Katie herself, I think there's a chance that they may not even want to take anyone from Matt's season. It's been riddled with so much controversy, from the relationships to the drama to the stuff that's happened, after the show wrapped filming. It might be time for a completely fresh face to just, really hit the reset button. Of course, only time will tell. Steve also tweeted out that The Bachelorette is going to take place in the US, which, the world hasn't changed. Unfortunately, we're all still living in pandemic times. So I think that was to be expected. And he said filming has been delayed about a week, so probably third week in March is when it will begin. So when I read this, I honestly did a double take because March is going to be here before we know it. They really do not have a lot of time to put all of these puzzle pieces together and figure out what they're going to do.
I think surely because they have no choice to. They have to have some type of plan already. And maybe it's just going through the chain of higher ups. I don't know. But surely, I mean, you're right. March is literally around the corner. It'll be here before we know it. And there's a lot of things that they have to do as far as pre-production. So I don't know how
Right.
they're going to swing it. I don't envy anyone in that position right now, but I feel like we can find comfort in the fact that surely they have some type of plan of action right now. And they probably had one before all of this really happened, and then they had to reevaluate and come up with another game plan. But yeah, time is ticking, and who knows what they're going to end up doing.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they're not like just your girlfriends who can cancel plans, right? I mean, they have to have
Yeah.
a season, they have to have a show. So it will be interesting to see what solutions they're able to come up with in such a short amount of time, considering, we've been talking about this a lot. We want to see changes from the top down. You can't like
Mhm.
do that overnight in 5 minutes. So we'll have to see sort of what this next season represents in terms of steps forward. Let's go back to who the Bachelorette could potentially be. No right or wrong answers, could be for Matt season, any season. Is there anyone who you have been, hoping would be able to take a turn as the Bachelorette?
I'm trying to think of past seasons of someone I really wanted to see become the Bachelorette, but I'm drawing a total blank. I mean, I love Rachel Lindsay. She became the Bachelorette. I think that's the last person that I was like in love with that I would love to see in that role. Again, I loved Katie, but I don't hate that she's not going to be the next Bachelorette. I think I'll still love her on Paradise. I hope that she partakes in that. I'll just speak from Matt season, because I've talked about them nonstop all season long. I love Brie and I love Michelle. I don't know who he ends up with. We've all heard the spoilers, and supposedly it's not either one of them. But Michelle, that woman deserves love. Brie quit her job, so I'm kind of like, at least give this girl another check. Like, let's sign her up for the Bachelorette so she can get paid. But also, yeah, I mean, between the two of them, I would love to see their season. I'd definitely be tuning in.
Yes, I am totally with you there. I think they each have so many qualities that would make for a really great Bachelorette. And it'll be interesting to see. I mean, there are so many incredible women in this franchise. They obviously, aren't lacking options. They just have to find the right fit for the here and the now, for the moment. Aside from the Bachelorette casting it at all, reality Steve, he's pretty good at giving us the tea, but there are some things that even he doesn't know. And he actually tweeted out to just sort of get ahead of this because so many people must be asking him. Obviously, we're all dying to know who the host of After the Final Rose is going to be, how much time Chris Harrison is going to be taking off, all that jazz. And Steve is just as in the dark about that as we are. He tweeted, the After the Final Rose is filming this weekend in LA. Before you ask, as of now, I don't know who will be hosting, nor do I know what they plan on doing or what the format will be, etc. He also added, whoever does end up stepping in, it's unclear how long they'll be taking on the role, saying whoever hosts After the Final Rose, does that mean they're the new host when The Bachelorette starts up filming next month? We don't know that either. So to me, I feel like Steve has very reliable sources. I try to honestly avoid his page for the most part because I like to, discover things in real time as they air. But I feel like when he doesn't know something or when he's giving you this is like something I've got 50% certainty on, it's typically because the situation is still evolving. Once things are locked and loaded, he has a pretty confident take and very reliable track record. So I think these situations are not completely locked down yet. I do have to say there's a lot of pressure on After the Final Rose and the next season to get it right. So that might
Yeah.
be part of the delay.
It's definitely such a messy situation. I don't think that whoever they have host After the Final Rose is going to be like the next permanent host. I would hope not. I would hope that they would spend more time to try to really diligently sort through their many options. That would be great. But yeah, I mean, for the next like permanent host, or I guess until if and when Chris Harrison comes back into play, we don't know if that's really going to happen. I would want that to be more of a process. I honestly wouldn't mind if they opened it up for their viewers, and maybe there'd be some type of voting poll where we could kind of have a say in who we see from here on out. I think that'd be cool. And that kind of reconnects us in the sense that they're creating a conversation for us to have about what's going to happen moving forward. I think that could be a good move for them. I don't know. I mean, that's my take. But there is a lot of pressure, no matter what they do, to get something right, especially given the next thing that's going to happen is after the final rose. So I'm hoping that they get it right. You can't please everybody at the end of the day, but I am anxiously awaiting to see who they're going to choose to host the next event.
I am right there with you, you guys. We've got a lot of moving parts right now. Hopefully, we will have more concrete details in the coming future. In the meantime, we want to know your thoughts on all of these developments. Were you hoping to see Katie? Is there somebody else you are rooting for? Let us know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell because we will keep you updated on everything happening in Bachelor Nation. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.